Just because he sleeps with you does not mean he loves you or cares for you. What's poppin', people? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about if you are his first choice. This video isn't just for women, men can also watch too, because I'm coming for y'all as well. But before we get into the meat of this video, I'm going to remind you guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below when you share this video with a friend or a family member or a co-worker or whomever. And now we can get started. Alright, so if you guys missed it, I went on TikTok live for the first time yesterday, and I kind of gave them a little bit of a teaser to what today's video is going to be about. So if you have not followed me on TikTok, haven't followed me on Instagram, you need to follow me on those things so you guys can stay up to date. You guys can know the sneak peeks, things that are coming up. Give me your opinions before I post the video, just in case I need new revelation, because I do get new revelations from you guys' comments. But yeah, if you guys haven't, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Pinterest. I post on there regularly videos that have nothing to do with the videos I upload, just thoughts that are in my head throughout the day that perfectly help you guys throughout your day. So go ahead and head over to those platforms, hit that follow button so you guys can stay updated weekly. And now we can officially get started, okay? Alright, so the verse that I'm coming at you guys with today, did I say that right? Oh no. But the story that I'm coming at you with today is a story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. Now, if you guys do not know, Jacob is one interesting man. If you don't know, Jacob is a brother to Esau. He's the one that tricked Esau into selling him his birthright. So you know how we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? It was supposed to be Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, but Jacob tricked him. He's also the one that worked 14 years for Rachel. He's also the father to Joseph. Have you seen the movie Joseph, King of Dreams? The one who was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then he became second in charge of all of Egypt, I believe. So that's his father. And then Jacob is also the one that you hear in the Bible who was wrestling with an angel, and the angel struck him in his hip, and that is why he walks with a limp. So Jacob is an interesting person, but the focus is not specifically on him today. It is also focused on Leah and Rachel. So I was reading this story, I want to say about, I think last week or maybe a few days ago, not too long ago, and I couldn't shake it. I was like, there's something in this little passage, I think it's one or two verses. I'm like, there's something that I'm missing. There's a lesson in here, and I just can't seem to pinpoint what it is, and I just kept going back to it. So a few days ago, the Lord kind of gave me revelation on what I kept trying to what he was trying to tell me to pick up on. And you guys, oh my goodness. The Bible is so interesting. It's literally like a sitcom. It is super crazy. But I'm not gonna go there. We're gonna talk about this story, okay? So Leah was only married to Jacob because Jacob was tricked by her father, Laban. Now, I say that was Jacob reaping what he sowed, because as you know, like I just said, he tricked his brother Esau, so that was just a reaping what you sow moment, but he reaped what he sowed 10 times over, because with that trick with Leah, he ended up having 12 kids, 4 baby mamas, just drama in his life. But anyway, he wanted Rachel, and he said that he would work for Laban for 7 years in order to marry his daughter Rachel. He's supposedly super in love with Rachel. So the 7 years are up. He tells Laban, give me my wife. Now it's time for me to make love to her because my 7 years are up. I want my wife, whatever. And they throw a party, no drinking, that I could see, that wasn't in the Bible, anything, no drinking, lights went off, whatever. Laban brings in his daughter Leah because she's the oldest, and it's tradition to give the oldest away before the youngest. Laban didn't say that, so that's how Jacob got tricked. And Jacob sleeps with her. So when he sleeps with her, he wakes up the next morning and realizes that this is not Rachel, this is Leah. So he goes to Laban, why have you tricked me? Laban explains the traditions, which he should have done from the very beginning, but he did not, so that was just wrong on his part. And then he's like, I'll give you Rachel, finish out your honeymoon week, and then I'll give you Rachel but you have to work for me for another 7 years. And that is how Jacob ends up working 14 years for Rachel. So there's a lot to unpack with this story. It is so interesting, and it's really just mind-boggling, but it's also not that mind-boggling because it kind of shows you the things that happen in the world today happen in the Bible. My first thing reading this, I felt bad for Leah because I was like, okay, she's not loved by Jacob, but it's not really her fault because she was given to him. That's how to think about it. Like, Laban's just trifling because if you know that this man's working for Rachel and you know your traditions, you would try to marry her off before the 7 years come so that way he can have Rachel. So Laban's just trifling for that. But again, Jacob was reaping what he sowed. Secondly, Leah should have spoke up. Like, I know the women didn't really have much of a voice when it came to those things, but she could have told Jacob, like, hey, I'm not Rachel, I'm Leah. These are the traditions. This is why I'm here. But I'm assuming that she did that because she just wanted to be loved. She wanted to have a husband. She wanted somebody to want her, because if it's tradition for the oldest to be married for the youngest, and this man is willing to work 7 years for your younger sister, that causes some self-esteem issues. So of course, she's just kind of willing to do whatever because she's like, okay, what's wrong with me? And I think something wrong with her eyes, but I don't know. But she's probably like, what's wrong with me? Like, why is he choosing her over me? I'm the oldest, like all these different things. And regardless, he wanted Rachel, he didn't want her. And she slept with him anyway. So the first point I want to point out with is, ladies, just because he sleeps with you does not mean he loves you or cares for you. Because I want to point out, like I said before, when they threw the party, the Bible does not mention that he was drunk or intoxicated. I checked because I thought in my brain that is why he slept with her. I thought Laban got him drunk or high so he could be kind of out of his mind and just know that I'm supposed to sleep with this person at the end of the night. No, Jacob was not drunk, nothing like that. He was not drugged at all. I'm like, if you love Rachel so much, how did you not know that the woman that you're about to lay down with is not her? Like, come on now. So what that revealed to me is men get so caught up in how they feel because, y'all, pay attention to what he said before the ceremony. He literally said, I have finished my 7 years, give me my wife so I can make love to her. He was just caught up in just making love to her. He was caught up in the act of having sex with her. The thoughts, he got excited, he was anxious. In fairness, he worked 7 years, so he's been waiting 7 years for this moment. But he was so caught up in just getting off, basically, that he slept with the wrong woman. Because you cannot tell me if you love someone so much, you don't know that this is not her. If you love someone that much, you'll at least know her facial features. You'll know what her hair looks like or something. You sleep with the entirely wrong woman. So that tells me he was just caught up in, let me get off. I've been waiting for 7 years. He didn't even care to make sure he was sleeping with the person that he actually wanted to be with. He was just focusing on, okay, let me get mine, basically. And I'm making this so, like, present day how people talk right now. And that's the one thing I got from Jacob. So I was like, that had to be what the cause was. Because how do you mess that up? And then again with Leah, I feel like she should have told him. Maybe nothing would have changed, but she could have been like, hey, I know I'm not your first choice, but this is how the tradition works. I don't really have a choice or a say in the matter. Or she could have been like, if you help me find a husband, someone willing to marry me, and if you wait a few days longer, because if she did this, I probably wouldn't have to work for Laban another 14 years. If you said, if you could help me find another, suitable man to marry me, once I get married, then you can have Rachel, but we don't have to, get tricked. I don't have to be put in a position where I'm just second fiddle and I'm just, the consolation prize or the one that really isn't wanted, just kind of here because I really want this. Instead of me having put in that position, you being put in the position of being tricked, let's just work together to make this work for both of us. Nope, she sleeps with him. She allows him to sleep with her. Like, no. So ladies, once again, just because you sleep with the man does not mean he loves you. Just because you sleep with him does not mean you are his first choice. It means sometimes you were convenient. You were there when he was horny. You were there when he really just wanted to get off for the night. Like, that's what it means for a lot of guys. So I know I've seen a lot where people are like, how is it, he dated all these girls in the past and he married me and I look nothing like the girls he dated in the past. They weren't his first choice. Like, that's just, get that, you guys. You want to make sure you're his first choice and you're not putting yourself in a position to later on be hurt or be compared to somebody else. Because later on down the line, because God felt pity for Leah, he opened her womb to produce heirs and he closed Rachel's. Which I was like, okay, Lord, how is that fair to Rachel? Because she had nothing to do with any of this. Like, but that also showed me that the sins of the person that you are connected to are going to affect you, regardless if you did anything or not. She's his husband now. She's his wife now. So it really just shows you, just because you're connected to this person, this is what you kind of get. It's not her fault, but whatever. But because that happened, it caused a tiff between sisters, because now they're trying to compete for his love, or compete for his attention, and trying to make the most babies and blah blah blah. And that is how he ends up having 4 baby mamas, because Rachel gave him her maid. I think that's what they're called. Basically, the woman that's supposed to be helping take care of her gave him her to have babies, and then once Leah's womb closed after the 4th son, she gave him hers, and then yeah, it was just a mess. And then I believe Rachel ended up having Joseph. So it was a mess. He ended up with 12 kids. And just so you guys know, in the movie Joseph King of Dreams, it says it's 12 brothers, but it's really not. There's a sister there. Like, they have a sister. It's not 12 boys. Why they did not put that in the movie, I don't know, but read your Bibles. It's a sister. One of them is a sister. So another point to take away from this: the sins of the person that you are connected to are going to affect you, even if you didn't do anything. That's just how it works. But Leah was just fighting for his love the whole time, because she's in this situation, she's there. And you know how women are, we're emotional beings. So you sleep with someone, and especially if you sleep with somebody on supposedly your honeymoon, you have feelings for them, even if you didn't necessarily want them, or you're trying to fight them, and you're kind of with this man, you kind of have to be with this man. You want him to feel love for you, you want him to love on you and care for you and cherish you. But no, he's worked another 7 years so he can be with her sister. Talk about insecurity issues. But for us now, like, we can avoid that by just using wisdom and discernment, and not just settling for, you know, a one night stand, or just trying to be with somebody because I want to feel love right now, I want to be touched, or, you know, I like the sweet words. Like, no, use wisdom so you're not hurt in the future, because that's what's going to happen if you're not his first choice. So in this case, I know most time people say actions speak louder than words, but when it comes to sex, words speak louder than actions, because just because somebody has sex with you does not mean they have feelings for you. Again, it means that you were there and you're convenient. That's usually what that means a lot of the time. And yeah, that's kind of like the only instances where your words speak louder than your actions, in a man's case and a woman's case. Because don't get me wrong, women do this too, and what men think they're the first choice and then they're really not. Women just want to get off. Like, it applies both ways. So saying this for the men watching, sometimes you end up with the wrong woman based off of your feelings. Like, it gets y'all, women too, but I'm talking about this story, it gets you guys in a situation that you don't want to end up being in. It gets you in a situation with having a baby mama and then leaving and then trying to have a wife, and now you got this whole love triangle, this mixed family, which isn't bad. People make it work, but it's heartache that can be avoided if you just use wisdom and die to your flesh and do not give in. Because I want you guys to look at Laban as the devil in this moment, because Laban had to know, or he had to know by Joseph's words and the way he was acting probably throughout the whole day, that he's so excited to lay down with my daughter, blah, blah, blah. He's not going to be able to notice that it's not her. Like, he had to know that, because if he didn't know that, there's no way he would have brought the wrong woman, or there's no way he would have done what he did, because he knew that he was going to watch. Like, he knew that Jacob would notice. But because he did it knowing that Jacob wouldn't notice, that lets us know the devil's watching and knows what our deepest desires are. So yes, on the face, on the forefront, it could be like, yeah, he's really working for me, you know, he's willing to wait, blah, 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 and all these things. He's doing all these things right. He's working and, you know, trying to earn my love. And yeah, it looks like, you know, he's doing all the right things to get with you. But then when it gets down to actually getting with you, his mind's focused on one thing, not one benefit, but one of the benefits he's looking forward to most in terms of being with you, that he's now vulnerable to deception because he's so focused on a feeling. He's so focused on fulfilling a temporary need. Because it doesn't say that he was with any other woman between this time, which I highly doubt it, because when you sleep with a woman, you have a wife back then. So for 7 years, he wasn't with anyone. He was just fantasizing and working and desiring, because the Bible says he was in love with her so much, those 7 years felt like days. Like, you really have to be in love with someone, and 7 years felt like days. And then another 7 years felt like another just a few days. Like, you really have to love somebody. And so your desires, I said this before on my channel, become your weakness if you're not careful, and the devil will know how to pervert it and trick you based off of what you were wanting so bad. So like I've said before in a video, let's say like my desire is to become debt free, not have any debt, just be zeroed out. Because that's a desire of mine, something I'm working towards, and it's not a bad desire. The devil tries to like wean in and just be like, okay, well, you know, you want to be debt free, so you just do OnlyFans. You don't gotta show your face. Just, you know, you can show your body, you can show your feet, get the money, and then debt free, bam. But then that's gonna have me compromising my morals just to get quick money instead of waiting on the Lord to do it, which is gonna get me in a different situation spiritually and mentally. And who knows, I could probably potentially get caught up in the money that I keep going. Even though I haven't done it, I'm just giving an example. But that's how he works. He will take your desires, the desires that God has given you, and try to pervert them and tweak them for your demise. Because that's pretty much what it is. It's your demise, it's your heartbreak, and that's prolongs actual blessing and the freedom and the fulfillment in the blessing, because now you have to do the work to get this off of you. You gotta do the work to kind of come back to who you are and kind of reevaluate. Because with Jacob's situation, y'all, he was so caught up in his feelings, he slept with the wrong woman, had to work another 7 years for the original woman he worked for in the first place, had 4 baby mothers, drama with his father. He had to basically, he was on the run from his father, then he was on the run from his brother, and Jacob had a lot going on. So there's just so much when you're like deceitful, and there's so much when you are not on guard and you're just kind of settling just for a temporary fill. So I hope this video was helpful and very like enlightening for some people. Just because a man sleeps with you, just because a woman sleeps with you, does not mean they have feelings for you. It means you are available, you are willing, you know, you both have that desire, and you get into a situation that you just don't want to be in long term. And people, you see a lot today now, people end up getting hurt because they're thinking this person did all these things for me and blah blah blah, and I'm not who they want to be with. Their feelings about me changed, and it's just because you're not their first choice. I believe it or not, I firmly believe that a lot of people have a preference, have a first choice, but they settle for something a little bit easier because it's just gratifying right now. Like, y'all can disagree with me all day long, but I feel like I see it on social media so much. And men say it too. Like, if a woman's kind of available, and men say it too, and women, I think that's what I was trying to say. Like, if one or the other is like available and it's kind of easy, and you know, because I've heard girls be like, yeah, well, it's not really what I want, but he was willing to buy me this and kind of do this, so they were just with him. You're just playing with somebody's emotions and really just being mean because you know you're not going to end up with them long term because they're not your first choice. So if you guys want a little bonus tip on how to know if you are somebody's first choice, answer y'all may not want to hear because it's not like a 1, 2, 3 and bam. It's a self-reflection again type of thing. You just got to pray about it. You got to ask the Lord. You got to develop a relationship and an ear to hear, because he'll be able to tell you. But a lot of people don't want to ask because either they don't want to know, or they just don't believe that he'll answer the question, and they don't think that God really cares. When he does, because he ordained marriage, he created sex. Like, he cares about those details that y'all think he does not care about, but he definitely does. And one of the only ways to know that, you know, you are somebody's first choice is to pray on it and wait for an answer. Don't say, well, I pray, I didn't hear nothing. Okay, well, give them time, give them a few days, give them a week, give them a month. Like, you don't have to settle. Like, one of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. And if you guys don't operate in self-control, you are always going to be in situations you don't want to be in, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, because the devil's going to get you because he knows you don't have self-control in that area. Like, you're saying, yeah, I want to be married, I want to be this kind of person one day, I want to have this lifestyle with children, all these things, relationship-wise, but you're willing to settle and hurt somebody else just because you want something from them, or, you know, they're willing to do something, but you know you don't want to be with them. You're a user at that point. You're just using them for what they can give you. This generation is full of users, full of people who just want to take advantage of others, and it's sad and it sucks, but it's the world we live in, and I'm like praying against it because people are getting hurt. People think that, you know, this man is no good, men are no good, women are no good, they're trifling, blah, blah, blah. But bro, at some point, I know no one's gonna wanna hear this, but at some point, you have to take responsibility for getting played. It's wrong of the person to play games with you and to, you know, be all up in your head. But as a believer, it's our responsibility to be prayed up and use wisdom and discernment. And even if it hurts, even if it sucks, because when you're dying to your flesh, it's something that you actually want to do. Even if you do that, you have to care about you enough to step back so that you don't get hurt, so that you don't have these negative feelings toward a certain kind of people or a certain gender. That's what the devil wants you to have. That's how he tricks you into doing things that's not godly, because you have all these now emotions from past hurts that could have been avoided if you ask the Lord to give you wisdom and discernment. And that doesn't mean you're going to make every perfect decision, but it does mean that you are at least doing your due diligence and trying to avoid anything that's going to prolong your long-term blessing. Like, nobody, I don't think anyone wants to do that anymore. Like, we're like in my generation, we're in our 20s. Like, I don't think anyone's trying to continuously waste time, even with dating. Who wants to waste time with dating anymore? Like, people are trying to like settle down, I would hope. But a lot of people are prolonged with settling down or having their soulmate because this person was with this person in the past, now they're hurt, now they have healing to do, and you may be good and sound, but now you gotta wait for this person to get it together so that when y'all get together, it's not a mess, it's not toxic, and it prolongs everything. So, you guys, again, if you don't get anything else from this video, do not just give in to feelings, and do not just think that because you lay down with somebody, they have feelings for you, because it's not true. And I think we all can attest that just because somebody has sex with you, just because somebody has a baby with you, does not mean they're gonna love you. It just doesn't. It just means they lay down with you and they had a baby. And that's sad, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below when you share this video with a friend. Don't forget to follow me on all of my socials so you can participate in polls, questionnaires that I have. When I'm gonna start going live on TikTok so you guys can stay up to date on topics and just really kind of give back and forth conversation, because like when I talk like this, y'all give comments, but sometimes I don't see the comments till later, whereas if I do it live, y'all can just comment live and ask your questions and ask for clarity, and I will do my best to answer them. So I'll be doing that very, very soon. If you guys are wondering how to have an ear to hear the Lord, how to ask for wisdom and discernment, I have a Heart of God planner. If you go to stopandremember.com, and it's literally a guide on how to study the Bible. It's a basic guide. It's not going to tell you, he's going to talk to you through this. I don't do that. I believe in, like, you're a different person. He knows you. He's going to have a relationship with you. The way he speaks to you is going to be different from how he speaks to me. This is just going to help you get revelation in the Bible and make it more interesting for you, and you kind of be able to hear him a lot more clearly and effectively, because you're going to understand what you're reading a little bit more. And so once you understand the heart of God, which is the point of the planner, you're going to understand why he held things back, why he allowed things to happen, why he was quiet in this season, why he's quiet, why he's not quiet now. Like, you're just going to understand him a little bit more. You're not going to fully understand God, because he is God. He's going to do what he wants. But the main thing that you're going to get from the guide is you're going to understand his heart. So once you understand somebody's heart, you know that no matter what they do, especially in God's case, no matter what he does, what he allows, it's for your benefit, because he's just good like that. So that is the point of the planner. If you guys do not know how to study the Bible, if you know a friend who's wondering how to study the Bible, direct them to stopandremember.com. I have this called the Heart of God planner. There's a digital one where you can actually write in it, and there's just a guide where you have the guide and you can write on a notebook. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, hope you guys get that planner, and I will see you next time. Bye.